Is it possible that Tommy is just one mistake away from losing it all, but doesn't realize it as yet? I caught on to a very predictable power pattern in this episode that you need to see that no one's realized as yet. My theory is that Tommy is going to end up... What's going on, everyone? It's Just B here, and I am excited to be back breaking down another episode of Power Book 4 Force, Season 3, Episode 4, titled Time to See the King. And we know where that title is coming from. I sat back and watched this episode and found it very interesting and very entertaining. It gave me a lot of original Power vibes, and I think that's a lot in part to do with the involvement, of course, of Gary Lennon being showrunner again. And so, no long talking, a lot happened in this particular episode. Not enough time to go through everything, so we're going through the biggest moments in this episode right now. Let's go. So we pick right up in the aftermath of Power Book 5 YNs.
You better ask about me, Unc. I'm really him.
Where Tommy walks in on Diamond, formally inducting D-Mac into CBI. Now, Diamond runs the full story by Tommy as to his reasoning for this. And even though it brings them into a heated confrontation, the whole focus now becomes how to deal with King Kilo, who wants D-Mac out of the picture. So Tommy reroutes to D-Mac and gets the weapon from him that he used on Mad Dog and inevitably gets it to Vic. So the plan ends up being to get Rashawn, who's the head of the SODs, to be pinned for Mad Dog's murder and to also provide proof to King Kilo, which they all somehow inevitably end up doing. But I might add, on a very, very tight rope. They were walking this thing out because it required the help of Malik and the rest of the SODs to go against their own, because Rashawn wanted out of the coalition and not everybody in the SODs was on board. So this plan works and they end up getting him off of D-Mac and CBI's back. For now, that is. And it's a good thing that they do, because CBI was fighting two battles at the same time. The other was trying to keep Che on ice in light of the desertions in the coalition, and Shay making it clear to Tommy and Diamond that what will happen if he loses more ground and costs him more money. Now, of course, Miguel sees this as an opportunity to close in on Tommy through Maria, which is really stupid of her to let her man's enemy into his house, especially while he's not there at all to say something about it. All because he bought her some flowers and some sympathy story about him missing his family. And we also get our first appearance of JP this season. I mean, crazy. That is the first time we're seeing this guy for this season, man. 4 episodes in. That tells a lot about what's happening behind the scenes. I have a strong opinion that it has to do a lot with maybe reduced budget this particular season. So JP ends up reasoning with D-Mac and lets him know that Kate went back to New York and that he wants him to be safe on these streets and not to get himself into much problems. I think JP has kind of accepted this at this stage now, that he can't really control D-Mac and he's going to be who he's going to be. But the least you can do is try to wish him well in hopes of having some sort of bridge to a relationship. So they have this kind of heart-to-heart and leave it there. Now, I know there are some of you guys out there that think that JP is going to die, and that causes Tommy to go all out war on everybody. I don't know if I necessarily hold that opinion, but if you think so, let me know in the comments on your theory how you think that's going to go down. Now, one of the best things I love about Force is its strong law enforcement presence. In my opinion, Book 2 Ghost didn't have that. And so the task force, including people like Stacy and Bobby and the rest of them, we see them actively working to take down the corruption in the city, but also seeing their inner challenges, such as Bill Sung, who's working in the task force while simultaneously working with Chan and Ortega, reminds me of OG Power, i.e. Mike Sandoval, if you guys remember that. So Bill's plan is to have Stacy trip up on herself with the cartel case and inevitably get her fired so that he becomes U.S. attorney, just like Mike was doing for Lobos back in the day. So we end up seeing Stacy getting Claudia out of prison by cutting her a deal so she can get Tommy and the cartel arrested. But Vic, who is still her CI, yet simultaneously working a plan on Ray, who is working with Stacy on her campaign, who, if you guys know, the actors who play Vic and Ray, they're actually married in real life, is also planting dirty money on behalf of Tommy into Stacy's political campaign, which will ultimately disqualify her if and when it's found out. But how do you guys see this playing out? Let me know in the comments. Now, for my weekly analysis on the character of Tommy during this final season. Hold on real quickly. You guys want to see something crazy? Over 99% of you guys that watch my content are not subscribed. So I'm asking real quickly, if you don't mind, just hit the like button and hit subscribe real quickly. I'd love to keep on giving this content to you guys and lets me know that people actually are interested. Feel free to do that, man. Really appreciate it a lot. Would help me out a long way in growing my small channel. Thanks. Now back to the video. So one of the things that I'm going to go into a mini rant on here, and that really stands out to me personally, is when it comes down to the character of Tommy, it's this whole aspect of, is he really and truly growing as a character, right? Now, I think about in the last one where I kind of broke this down, him being a character who's like this whole solo dolo gunslinger, and I believe that ultimately they need to tie him down with some roots, i.e. having a baby with Maria in order for him to settle down. But now I really started to look at it a little bit more, and I think about all the people that he's lost because Tommy doesn't seem to lose. And what makes you lose interest in a character and realize that they're not developing at the rate in which you think they should is that they don't see him human. You don't have a human-like connection to them that grounds them in his realism. Like human in the sense of that we've always seen Tommy lose people, but we've never really and truly seen Tommy lose. I know this because I've been watching Power for 11 years now. And when I say losing in the sense of I need to see him seriously down and then I can root for his comeback. Because, you know, we're rooting from him from the beginning, you know, i.e. the name of the show being Force and him taking Chicago by force. But what I need to see now is, why should we root for you after you've left New York? Like, you want to take over this new city that you have little connection to like that. Why should we root for you, Tommy? Personally, what I need to see is him completely seriously injured or sidelined or something like that would happen to him and not to somebody around him like a D-Mac or a JP or a Kate or how it happened with Raina and Ghost and Lakeisha and Holly. I need to see something happen to Tommy, seeing him down bad, maybe even wheelchair bound or something like that for a couple episodes or a season. Yes, I know this is the final season, so I'm just putting it out there anyway, for whatever timeline it could have been. And then we see him rise. We see him rise up out of that and really prove his whole post-Ghost era of strength and him standing on his own and all the things that he would have learned, all the lessons he's put together, and we see him truly rise. Now, I think that's what we're missing from the character of Tommy, is that he seems too indestructible and he has way too much plot armor, in my opinion. I love the character of Tommy, but I do think that there comes a point where there needs to be more development for us to really and truly rally around a character like this. I think about Game of Thrones when it was good. The character of Jon Snow. We watched him over time grind it out from nobody to earning his place based off of his intellect and his skill sets into a place of being respected by the Night's Watch and the Brotherhood and the Wildlings, to the point where we see this guy go into leadership. Then we see him end up getting deleted by his own brothers. And then we watch him build himself back up from literally the lowest point you could get because they resurrected him to ultimately being eligible to take this place of the highest throne in the kingdom. I know it's a completely different universe, completely different show, but I'm just illustrating a point. You have Tommy as his lead character. We have to be able to have a reason to root for him beyond just, hey, it's Tommy, you know? So that's all I'm trying to say. But that's just my opinion. I definitely like to have the conversation with you guys in the comments to go deeper into that. Well, that's it for my breakdown, guys. Again, another amazing episode. You couldn't tell me this wasn't a direct continuation of the original Power. The way how the symmetry is consistently going along with the same tone and tenor of the OG. Now the question is, what did you guys think of this episode? Do you think that based off my breakdown, I got some things right, I got some things wrong, crazy on some things? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you derived any value from this breakdown, let me show you guys something, man. Do your boy a favor. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. I really and truly appreciate it. Until next time, guys. Peace.